Dry January has a 90% failure rate. Why? Because most people treat it like a challenge instead of a commitment. 30 days of suffering, then right back to the bottle. If you're ready to actually get sober, here's how to make sure you're part of the 10%. I know about the 90% because I was part of it for 8 years. I tried Dry January every year from 2016 up until I finally quit in 2023. 2016, back to drinking by January 2nd. 2017, I made it to January 4th. 2018, same thing. 1 year, I believe it was 2020, I didn't even make it past noon on January 1st. 12 whole hours I made it. You know why I kept failing? Because I was doing a challenge, not making a commitment. I was changing my behavior temporarily, not changing my identity permanently. Every attempt started the same way. I'd tell myself, just 30 days. White-knuckling through every hour, counting down like it was a prison sentence. And whether I made it to day 2, 4, or 31, the plans were always the same: to celebrate my success by getting drunk. The goal was never to quit. It was to prove I could stop. And once I proved that, I was right back to the bottle. That's not sobriety. That's just delayed gratification. And if you do Dry January the same way I did for 8 years, you're going to end up in the same place. Drunk on February 2nd, feeling like a failure, wondering why you can't just get your shit together. 2024 was different. Not because I tried harder, not because I finally had enough willpower, but because on November 12th, 2023, I changed 3 things. I changed my habits, my systems, and my identity. I stopped saying I'm trying not to drink and started saying I don't drink. That shift from effort to identity is what made it stick. When January 2024 rolled around, I wasn't doing Dry January. I was living as someone who didn't drink. And that made all of the difference. So if you're thinking about using Dry January to actually get sober, not just surviving 30 days, here's a 3-step plan I wish someone would have given me back in 2016. Step 1, use Dry January as your launchpad. Step 2, start with identity, not willpower. And step 3, commit to the process, not just 30 days. Let's break it down. Step 1, most people treat Dry January like a finish line. You survive 30 days, you win. You go back to drinking. But that's backwards. Dry January isn't where you finish. It's where you actually start. Here's why this is a perfect time to get sober. When you quit drinking on a random Tuesday, you're all alone. When you quit on January 1st, you got 15 million other people doing it with you. You don't have to announce you're getting sober. You simply tell people you're participating in Dry January. Less pressure, less judgment, less explaining yourself. Use that as cover. Use that momentum. Build your foundation while everyone else is watching. And by February 1st, you won't need Dry January as an excuse anymore. You'll have 30 days of data proving you can do this. The work doesn't stop, but you'll have the foundation to keep going. But that only works if you do step 2. Step 2. Here's a mistake I made for 8 years. I relied on willpower to get me through Dry January. I'd tell myself, don't drink, don't drink, don't drink. And willpower worked for like 5 days. Then you're at a party or you're stressed, you're probably bored, and your brain starts negotiating. Just one won't hurt. You made it a week, you deserve a break. Nobody will know. And if all you have is willpower, you lose that negotiation every single time. So here's what you do instead. From day 1, you start practicing your new identity. Not, I'm doing Dry January. I don't drink. Not, I'm trying not to drink. I don't drink. It sounds simple, but it's everything. Because when someone offers you a drink and you say, I'm doing Dry January, what they hear is, I'm temporarily not drinking, but I'll be back. When you say, I don't drink, what they hear is, this is who I am. And more importantly, what you hear is, this is who I am. I actually talked about this in one of my last videos about building confidence. Confidence doesn't come from feeling ready. It comes from acting even when you're not. You don't wait to feel like someone who doesn't drink. You start acting like someone who doesn't drink, and the identity follows. And when willpower runs out, and it will, you need something stronger. That's why I'm giving you 10 affirmations that got me through my first 90 days. Not motivational quotes, the exact statements I use to rebuild my identity from the ground up. Affirmations like I don't drink, I protect my future self, I am someone who starts what they finish. These aren't pump-up lines, they're anchors. When your brain is screaming at you to quit on day 5, you come back to these, not to feel better, to remember who you're becoming. Links in the description, they're free, use them. But identity only works if you commit to step 3. Step 3, here's the hard truth. 30 days proves you can do it. Continuing past 30 days proves you changed. Most people count down to day 31 like it's the finish line. They survived another dry January. And then on February 1st, they reward themselves by getting blackout drunk. And all they've proven is that they can white-knuckle through a month. That's not transformation. That's just delayed gratification. If you actually want to get sober, you can't treat January 1st like the end. You have to treat it like the beginning. Because here's what happens on day 31. The cultural movement, it stops. The social proof disappears. Everyone else is drinking again. And if you haven't built a strong identity, if you haven't anchored yourself to something bigger than a 30-day challenge, you'll likely fall right back in with all of them. But if you spent the last 30 days practicing I don't drink, if you use those affirmations to anchor to your identity, if you've built the foundation, February 1st isn't scary. It's just another day. Because you're not finishing dry January. You're living as someone who doesn't drink. And that's the shift. That's what makes it stick. Look, I need to be real with you. If you do dry January the way most people do it, white-knuckling through 30 days, counting down till February 1st, treating it like a diet, you are going to fail. You'll be drunk again by February 2nd. Probably sooner. And if you prove to yourself once again that you can't do it, that sobriety isn't for you, that you're just not strong enough, and that lie will keep you stuck for another year, maybe 5, or however long it takes before you finally try again. I wasted 8 years doing it wrong. Don't waste 8 years of your life. But if you do it right, if you use dry January as your launch pad and not your finish line, if you start with identity instead of willpower, if you commit to the process, not just 30 days, here's what you'll win. You wake up on February 1st proud instead of hungover. You break the cycle for good. You build evidence that you're not the person you used to be. You have a new identity. And you don't have to white-knuckle your way through life anymore. Identity does the work for you. And that's what's waiting on the other side. So here's what I want you to do. If you're thinking about getting sober, don't wait for rock bottom. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Use dry January as your launch pad. Download these 10 affirmations, links in the description. It's free. And when it gets hard, because it will, this channel has videos to help you through it. Identity work, dealing with triggers, or handling social pressure. Start January 1st, not as a challenge, but as the first day of your new identity. Because real sobriety isn't about surviving 30 days. It's about becoming someone who doesn't need to drink anymore. And that person, that's who you're becoming. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.